Last night, about 5 in the morning, I woke up and it was raining outside, which is pretty much a miracle in Southern California. And the rain was beating down on the roof, and it always makes funny noises in the fireplace when it's striking all the metal of the inside, and I guess it shouldn't be doing that, should it? Nonetheless, it wakes me up. And for a few brief moments, I lay in bed and I just feel the sky soaking the earth, and that particular wet smell comes up from the ground and starts to swirl through the bedroom. And it feels good. It feels like life. Like I'm going to wake up to a rich, wet, living earth. And this makes me think sometimes about the work that I do, the work that I teach. Makes me think about what manifesting is. And manifesting has, I guess it's had a little resurgence in the last year, unbeknownst to me. I've been merrily just clicking along, doing my thing. But it's everywhere right now. And manifesting is really similar to the way that the sky reaches down to the earth. It's the rain that allows the flowers to grow and the trees to drink in the water. And then, in turn, of course, the earth allows that water to rise right back up to the heavens. It's a cycle. It takes both. It's like manifesting. Physical and non-physical. Flowdreaming. It's a show where we talk about the power of your mind to change your world around you, to literally affect the fabric of your reality. We talk about this feeling of hope and joy and relief. And that is what being aware of your flow does. It gives you a feeling of power again in your lives. I'm Summer McStravick, and welcome to another episode of Flowdreaming. Welcome, my dears. This is episode number 656 of Flowdreaming. It's called, What is Manifesting, and Does It Actually Work? Now, today's episode might be slightly interrupted. I have a very big dog. As some of you know, I've been sharing a little about him. And when I do the bad thing, meaning I'm recording my podcasts on days that he's not at his doggy camp, well, we have to stop every, 20 minutes because there's always someone at the door, or the cats are trying to rile him up, or even the birds are going off and he's got to go off with them. So bear that in mind if I pause and say, oh, wait a second, I'll be right with you. Anyway, last week, I hope you enjoyed the kind of bonus episode series that I launched with, and that was episode 655. What is manifesting for people in their 20s, right? Giving you kind of an overview of the phases and the eras of manifesting and the times in our life that we move through and what we're going for and looking for. And I really thought it would be fun to do a 4-part series on that. So over the next few weeks, I want you to look forward to not just manifesting for people in their 20s, but manifesting for people in their 30s and their 40s and their 50s, as I catalog my own journey, moving through the kinds of things that I was trying to look for and build and want in my life. And it was really fascinating because I do see these commonalities based on these different phases of our lives. So be sure to tune into those bonus episodes. They're really just extra episodes that I'm just trying to kind of slip into the otherwise natural flow of weekly releases. So we're going to jump in today and talk about manifesting. And for those of you who've been listening for a long time, You know the answer to this question already. You know what I'm going to say, and that is, yeah, manifesting works, and yeah, you should do flow dreaming for it. But I'm going to approach it a little bit differently. I'm going to look at it using the latest language around it, the latest ways people are seeing it and talking about it. Because, a lot changes over almost 20 years. And the way we describe it right now, this year, is very different than the way I was describing it in, say, 2005. And I think it's going to create a really interesting point of contrast, especially if you've been doing this work for a long time. You're going to be able to kind of freshen it up and bring in some of these new ideas that are, swirling in around it. And if you were new to it, and this is your first time kind of really getting into the concept and idea, you're now going to get this very rich backstory for manifesting, how it works, why it works, when it doesn't work, etc. Now, that's a big promise for one podcast episode. In fact, I spend a lot of time teaching my students, particularly why their manifesting doesn't work. That's one of the things I do in Me School. We go deep into that, as well as my Flow On program. I have some courses in there. In fact, you can go check them out at flowdreaming.com. And one of them is about why is your manifesting not working? Goes in there and really helps you debug it. So this is going to be a top level kind of overview for you today. And with all of that very long preface or prologue, let's go ahead and dive into some of these ideas about you and manifesting, what it is and what it isn't. For starters, manifesting isn't something you do. It's something you are. You're manifesting every second, even right this moment. Okay, this seems like an obvious thought, but the way that it is being shared now, sometimes I think it makes us miss this obvious understanding. Because we feel like it's something we've got to gear up to do. I've got to pull out my vision board. I've got to get my gratitude journal out. I've got to start writing those affirmations. I've got to do the thing. But doing the thing is more just a sense of a concentrated doing of the thing. It's pulling all of your awareness into whatever practice it is that you're using to manifest with. By the way, I will interchange the words manifesting and co-creating. They mean essentially the same thing. So when you're sitting down to do the manifesting practice, what you're saying is, now I'm going to concentrate my awareness, concentrate my energy, concentrate my field in these feelings, emotions, thoughts, desires. But we have to remember, every second of every day, we're also manifesting. And what does that mean? It means that every second, every moment, you are interacting with your life. You are interacting with other people. Right now, we are interacting. Doesn't matter if you're listening to me on a recording, I'm still reaching you, right? You're still receiving this information. And in some strange kind of cosmic and quantum way, your receiving it is bouncing back to me. There is always an exchange. So you may have spent your whole morning, just drinking your tea and, booting up the computer, answering some emails, maybe doing a little, workout, whatever you do. You were manifesting in every one of those moments. And do you see how this takes the pressure off, this feeling like, oh, I haven't been doing my manifesting lately? I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Because you have been doing your manifesting lately. It's really instead a question of, what have you been manifesting lately? And for a lot of us, the answer is a whole lot of nothing. My manifesting has centered around just, moving through the paperwork or paying the bills or, having discussions with my kids and my friends and or making dinner or going out or finishing that contract. But we're still manifesting. Because manifesting at heart is really speaking to this idea that every moment we interact with life around us, we are in essence communicating something with it. And what we are communicating with it is what it's receiving, hearing, and responding to in return. And that, my friends, is the heart of the concept of manifesting. So this very first idea is it's not something you do, it's something you are. So we're going to start paying attention now to how much am I manifesting stuff that's just day-to-day dribble, just kind of going through my day, versus how much am I giving this sort of very focused, laser-like manifesting time, this intention dripping time where I'm really communicating, where I'm really saying. Because that, I think, is what we mean when we're saying I haven't been doing my manifesting. It means I haven't carved out those moments where what I'm really saying to life is sharp and clear and perfect and all through me. Which brings me to my next point. By the way, if you like this, I'm gleaning today's materials from a very long blog that I've written on my website, Flowdreaming.com. And I go into different details about essentially this sort of list of ideas of what manifesting is and how to do it well, how to do it extraordinarily well. So go look it up. The best way probably is to just Google or do a search. Write in Flowdreaming, and then what is manifesting? It should come up. Anyway, I think it would be a really good resource if you want to read it and kind of really nail this. So the second thing in my list about what is manifesting is a statement of awareness, again, that manifesting is consistent. Manifesting is consistent. What this means alludes to what I just said before. It's consistent because you're always doing it. It's just a matter, are you doing it at a level 1 or 2, or did you turn the volume up to 10? Manifesting in a very effective form, a hyper-effective form, is when you turn that volume up to 10 consistently. And when all that low volume, the 2s and the 3s, you've developed also a practice around. And that means your day-to-day thoughts, right? We talk about breaking through patterns and limitations and blocks or ceilings. All of that is responding to you when you're doing the low-level kind of call and response with your life. You're responding to all the things and doing all the things. That's you low-level manifesting in and out, back and forth. And you've developed something around that where you're now able to catch yourself, say, when you go into these lack thoughts about your life or scarcity thinking, for instance. But it also means that when your manifesting is at a level 10, you're doing that practice consistently too. For me, this means a goal of spending 10 to 15 minutes a day on this sort of hyper concentrated form. For me, this means going into my flow and doing my Flowdreaming practice 10 to 15 minutes a day. In fact, before I began podcasting with you just now, I spent time reviewing, these are the things I'm making in my life. I got myself all fired up with the energy, really clear, really focused, because I want to make sure that the things I'm creating in my life are also in alignment with the kind of content that I'm creating for you, the podcast that I'm putting out there, right? Everything has to fuse together. So sometimes when I'm doing my consistent form of manifesting, I am just Flowdreaming, straight Flowdreaming alone. By the way, if you don't know what that is, I have an episode, I think it's number 650. If you're new to Flowdreaming, listen to this first. But there's even a better resource. It's called The Free Kit, and you can find that under the free goodies tab at flowdreaming.com. I give you like a ton of stuff, recordings, audios of flow dreams, some reading material. It teaches you how to do it really quickly. So sometimes I'm just doing my Flowdreaming work. Sometimes I'm going to add in other little pieces. And we're going to get into those. I'll tell you what those are as we move along. But first, number 3. Manifesting is emotionally on target and must include rich, deep emotion, right? The Holy Grail, rich, deep emotion. Now, this is a way that I really want to take to task some of the manifesting techniques that are drifting around out there right now. The ones that say, just write it down 20 times or, just, make a vision board that, and just feel happy when you look at it. There are many practices, but the ones that work, the ones that add to, are the ones that generate deep, rich feeling in you. If you are using a technique that doesn't provoke you to feel just utter joy, gratitude, relief, feelings of fullness and receptivity and receiving, well, you know what? If that technique isn't doing that for you, please drop it. You are wasting your time. Manifesting relies on your emotion. Your emotion is what really speaks to your future. It's what speaks to your heart. It's what reminds your mind, your head, that, hey, all the logic in the world isn't going to address this feeling that I'm going for. Because what do we want in life more than anything? We want feelings. And you might say, oh, no, Summer. We want money. We want good health. We want strong relationships and good families. And to each one of those, I say, we want money because we want security. And we want freedom. We want the freedom to retire. We want the freedom to work for ourselves. We want money to give us those feelings. Whoa, wait a second. But we want good health. We want good health because we want to feel, again, freedom from fear, freedom from doubt or worry, freedom from shame around how our body looks or guilt that we're not doing enough for it or making it look healthy or right. We want feelings that our body is healthy and safe and will carry us forward into many decades of our future. We want those feelings, and health will give us those. We want the feelings that we are deeply loved, that we're admired. Our friends, our family, they admire us. They see us with the most beautiful rose-colored glasses of love. They love us, and we feel that. We feel the intimacy. We feel the connection. We feel this sense of these people belong with me and I belong with them, and we lift each other up. That's what a relationship is going to give you. So you see, what we're doing in life is we're programming in feelings, above all else, constantly. So whatever practice you're doing should be communicating in the language of feelings. And this is what makes Flowdreaming really quite unique. As a meditation practice, it's a meditation of feelings practice. It generates these feelings. It causes them to blossom and bloom through you. You become these feelings long before all the other things in your life have lined up to actually give you any reason to feel them. This is why, for me, Flowdreaming is like number one. And then the little things that I do around it, the other practices, all need to somehow or engage those feelings. Which brings me to number 4. Manifesting doesn't require you to meditate or use affirmations or write in a gratitude journal or do any other gimmicks unless they make you feel good. Good. And sometimes when we're using different techniques for manifesting, we end up feeling not so good. I scratch our heads and say, why? And sometimes it's just that we just kind of drop doing it. And the feeling that led us to drop it isn't necessarily a bad feeling. It was just this is pointless, or this isn't working, or I've got other things to do that are more important today because these manifesting things I'm doing haven't yielded any results. I'm moving on, right? That in itself is a feeling. It's a very bland, blank, non-committal, forgetting about it feeling, but it's still a feeling. Now, contrast that. If you were feeling every time like, damn, I did my manifesting this morning, and you know what showed up later that day? Oh my God, I just got $500 in the mail, and I got this new thing at work, and right? You wouldn't leave your manifesting. You would be having a response to it every day of, are you kidding? It's the most important thing I do in my day. If I didn't do my manifesting, I don't know what would happen. Sometimes a bit of contrast like that is all it takes for us to really see why we end up dropping specific techniques versus continuing with them. Now, caveat. Techniques oftentimes don't have a response within hours. Sometimes they do. But oftentimes it goes more like this. I start doing a technique that's generating these rich and gorgeous manifestational feelings, these feelings about myself, my life, my future, who I'm becoming, the kinds of things that I want help with manifesting and creating in my life, help from the future, help from flow, God, source, other people. And what's happening is I'm actually shifting from where I've been. And this is where I always use the analogy of a fruit tree. Right? Like think about an orange tree. I've got an orange tree. I know what happens up there in my little beautiful tree. It pushes out these sweet smelling white blossoms. And then the blossoms drop. And there are these little teeny tiny, pea-sized green round buds. Or not buds, they're little tiny fruits. And then those fruits begin to grow, and it can take a while. But eventually, those fruits become the size of a golf ball, and then they become a tennis ball, and at some point, they're fully ripe, and they're ready to eat and enjoy. All the things that you've been feeling in the past in your life were moments where your tree budded, the blooms came, and things got set in motion based on you, based on your feelings, based on your desires, based on your fears, right? A lot of manifesting is a result of the fact that we've been giving out a ton of fear. Yeah, I know. You're like, oh no. Like, well, yeah, look at some of these things in your life that you don't want that you have. There were little buds and blooms of fear, aversion, worry, not good enough feelings. You were just spewing that out. And those little blooms became tiny fruits, and those fruits became big, fat oranges. And now, here they are. And that is what you've got in your life in this moment. And you're saying, well, I sat down and did my manifesting this morning, and I still have these big, crappy things. Well, because you've just picked the crappy fruit that you made a while back, 2 years back, 2 months back, I don't know. All the fruits are developing at different times, but there you go. But the one you planted this morning, it will also grow, especially if you give it more intention tomorrow and the next day and the next. If you sort of, give it some love it up, right? Some fruits fall off my orange tree midway. They never ripen. And I scratch my head and think, what was wrong with that one? Why did it drop? Some of them just grow and become the biggest fruits on the tree. And I wonder if manifesting isn't the same. We give some a lot of attention, a lot of focus, and those grow big and rich. So when you're doing these things, these techniques, pick ones that support your feeling good. So in my case, sometimes I will use my little vision board, right? I call it something different. I call it an energy anchor. When I look at the images on my vision board, and does anybody there, any of you not know what a vision board is? Probably, I don't think so, but I'll just say it just in case, right? A vision board is when you take a bunch of pictures. Back in the day, we used to cut them out of magazines, but poof, who gets magazines anymore, right? So instead, we're printing them off our computer, and we're going to Pinterest and stuff, or we're printing the pictures off our phone, or our camera roll. You take these pictures and sayings and words that evoke what you're going for, and you collage them all together on paper. The whole thing should create this feeling that makes you feel super, super good, super, super excited, that just ticks all of your boxes, that feels absolutely amazing. Now, when you glance at this vision board, what you're doing is every time, and this is why I call it an energy anchor, every time I glance at it, these feelings rush in again, right? They've anchored themselves in this thing that I've made. And the feelings that rush in are, oh God, that's right. I love having a paid off house. Oh, I'm so excited about these trips with the family. Oh, that book deal that I'm doing and getting. Wow, right? It feels great. So I will sometimes stand in front of my vision board or untape it from the wall and put it in front of me and just allow it to help me cultivate those feelings. Some days when I'm going into my flow dreaming and I'm feeling, not quite there, I'll start by writing gratitude. I will write about things that I currently have that I am in love with, that are already working, that I, truthfully take for granted a lot of time. And these are always the things that are working very easily in my life, right? There's no stress around them. The stuff that I just know is good, loving me, supporting me, the energy of life, earth, the gods loving me, giving me a beautiful house, giving me healthy children, a good husband, giving me, more years cancer-free. I go, oh yeah, damn, I've been gifted a ton. Then when I go into my more specified or concentrated manifesting work, I'm coming in with those feelings of, I've been blessed. Why shouldn't I be more blessed, continuously blessed? So you see, you can pick anything that makes you feel that way. Maybe you want to hold some beautiful crystals in your hand and amplify the energy that way. Maybe you want to do a healing practice along with it. Anything that makes you feel great and good is what you want to use. Which reminds me, number 5. Manifesting means not focusing on what you want so much that it backfires and makes you feel even more miserable. Now, I've kind of talked about this, in past episodes, the dark side of personal growth, etc. But here's what happens sometimes. We get super fired up. We're going to make this. We're going to co-create this with life. We're going to go in and really expand ourselves and reshape our energy and become these beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous things. And we're doing it, and we're doing it, and we're doing it. And we start to realize, I don't really want to do it today. And it's hard to even put your finger on it, but you know this feeling. It's a bit of resistance. It's a bit of pushback. Again, nothing has happened. I'm going to do this. Why, universe? When? Where is my partner, my soulmate? Why? How come work hasn't changed yet? Why? This is what's happening. You are starting to focus so much on these feelings of what you're trying to make or create, to manifest them, that you have sort of flipped the coin over by accident. And it's a very narrow line. I always say it's, think of like a gas gauge. You want to have that little, what do you call it? The little spiky thing in the middle, the gauge itself, sticking straight in the middle or completely on the side of co-creating and feeling good. But sometimes if you overdo it, zoom, it's going to go flip and it's going to go to the other side. Instead of feeling full, you will start to feel empty, emptier and emptier. What's going on is that lack feelings are starting to creep in. You've become so aware of what you want that this corresponding feeling of, but I don't have it, is starting to meet you as a kind of kickback. And when that's happening, It means that you're no longer manifesting what you want. You're still manifesting, right? Because manifesting is what you are, not what you do. But what you're manifesting, what you're co-creating, what you're flow dreaming into your life instead is, I don't get my needs met easily. It's hard work getting those things. I can tell the universe all I want about what I want, but it's really capricious and it may or may not give it to me. And a lot of times it doesn't. In fact, the universe doesn't even want me to have this, obviously. Or something in me is still wrong, raw, broken, and I'm obviously not getting my desires because there's something wrong with me. This is what the universe is hearing from you now. And when it's hearing that from you, it says, oh, all right, well, I guess that is what we need to respond to. There's something broken in you. Let's give you things that keep making you feel that way. Oh, you don't think that we want to give it to you because somehow you don't deserve it, or you're just not going to get it because, I'm the universe and I'm really stingy and fickle? Okay, we'll make sure that you keep getting situations that are near misses because this is really matching what you're feeling. Do you get it? This is going into a really deep concept in manifesting, but I have to touch on it because it's where a lot of people start to go sideways in the work that they're doing. Carrying on. Because that last point, that's easily, an hour or 2 hour class, especially, well, how do I fix that, Summer? I'm like, well, you got to get the class for that. A good one is advanced manifesting techniques. You'll find that under courses at flowdreaming.com. And by the way, thank you guys for letting me share these resources with you. I do allude to my website a lot. It's what supports and completely, pays for this program, the podcast, all of it. Other podcasts you listen to, well, they're going to have ads for mattresses and banking software, etc. But I don't do that. I let my own site support it. So I throw out these resources for you because I think that's even better. I know that they will help you, and I know that they're on target with the exact things that we're talking about. All right, let's move on. Number 6, manifesting requires both your physical and non-physical effort. Your physical and non-physical effort. So again, this is sometimes where people nowadays, the current era of manifesting, they say, just close your eyes, up your vibe, the quote, positive vibes only. And where's my stuff? I did it. I felt it. I went there. Where's my stuff? And they're sitting there with their fingers in nirvana and, legs crossed. And where's my stuff? Manifesting means that you are co-creating. And just like I described in the beginning with the rain and the earth, it takes physical effort, the dirt to grow, the soil, the stuff of life. And it takes the non-physical effort, the rain, spirit, the sky, the greater sense of direction, God, source, aligning, bringing together the absolute quadruple, triple, billion, trillions of infinite possibility that it could bring together in any moment of your life. Your directing of life is folding down or narrowing down those infinite billions and trillions and quadrillions or whatever of possibilities. Because if you were truly open to everything, well, everything could have a potential to come to you. But you've made so many decisions already in your life about things that your life is busy upholding for you. You've made decisions about where you work, where you live, the kind of money you have, the kind of food you eat, the way you take care of yourself, etc. All of these are structures you've previously created in your life that serve to narrow down the options that life can give to you. I hope that makes sense. Now, within the scope of what it can give to you, you have to take physical effort. If you say, I really want enough money where I don't stress anymore, anymore. Not about rent, not about big payments that come up. My car broke down or the roof is leaking. I want to feel like I can afford healthy foods. I can go on vacation. I need to feel this sort of financial abundance and support. Awesome. It's a beautiful thing to manifest because it takes you out of baseline and survival mode. And it starts to bring you to that point where you can really give back because you're not just thinking about your own baseline physical safety anymore. This means you can really start sharing and giving back to the world in a bigger way. So yeah, you want this. But what are you doing to physically move toward this? Are you pushing forward in your career? Are you skilling yourself up? Either with skills that your employer asks for, or if you're self-employed, things that will grow your business. Are you doing the skilling up inside your mind and heart? Are you learning how to push through fear and roadblocks and raise your thinking, take the limits off your thinking? Are you doing this work? This is physical stuff that you do, stuff that you're practicing. And you're practicing it by doing things in your life that make you feel wobbly, unsure, I don't know if it'll work out, right? It's making that scary phone call, asking for the job, etc. It's looking at your finances and saying, okay, I'm going to stop sticking my head in the ground about this. I'm going to spend all weekend long figuring out how much I got, where it's going, what to pay off first, and how much to start saving, and I'm going to do it. Even though a part of you is saying, oh my God, you've been avoiding that because it's going to freak you out. The physical aspect is, no, I'm going all in. How can I possibly ask the universe to fix it for me when I'm freaking out and unwilling to do any physical work to fix it myself? That is very unfair. And why would the universe do that for me? What it's hearing from me is, I don't feel capable of doing it, and I'm not going to do it. I'm asking the universe to do it for me. And it's saying, baby, takes two to tango. So think about the physical effort you've been putting toward your manifesting. Conversely, some of you guys, you're only doing physical work, only doing physical effort. And you're forgetting all about talking to life. Talking to your greater self, talking to source and the flow, etc. Wow, yes. And by the way, that is, again, another topic that I go over extensively in Me School. We learn what kind of person you are, how you've been doing things, which ones have been working, which ones don't, etc. So I'm going to recap this with a couple other ideas. The best manifesting technique makes you feel powerful, strong emotion, right? I went into that at length. The best manifesting technique is one you can do consistently. And I spoke into that as well, right? If you're not doing something that you can do consistently, it's not working for you, find something else. The best manifesting technique should also make you feel energized and confident afterward. Is what you're doing now making you feel that way? And if it's not, if it's making you hyper aware that you don't have it yet and you're settling into lack, again, change things up because that one is not working for you. Here's another caveat. The best manifesting technique doesn't cost anything. That's a big one, I know. Now, this doesn't mean that learning how to manifest, learning how to break through your limitations, learning and getting in programs and courses, etc., that will cost. But the fundamental communication between you and the universe does not cost a dime. Doesn't cost a penny. So think about the practices you're doing. If you can do something that's inherently free, you're going to do it all the time. There's no monetary, price tag attached to it. Now, some of you are saying, but Summer, you have all of those flow dreams in your web store and, they're $10 each. And each of these flow dreams is about manifesting, helping you manifest something in your life. Shouldn't those be free? No. You're purchasing those because you're learning from them. I'm guiding you into the correct space. I'm guiding you into the correct feeling state. I'm giving you a structure. I'm giving you a scaffold that you can listen to so you can begin doing the free pouring in of your feelings, the free communication with your higher self, with God, with your future, that. And frankly, like I always tell my students, you don't even have to use those. You don't need those. You can flow dream all on your own with your own thoughts and your own feelings. It's just a matter of which one floats your boat, right? Which one do you find easiest? Which one gets you there faster? And finally, the best manifesting technique should be something that you can do anytime, any day. This is different from one you can do consistently. Consistently means you don't find yourself petering out and stopping because it's difficult, it's hard, it takes showing up with a certain group. There's these limiters on it. The best manifesting technique is something you can do anytime, any day. Right now, you could close your eyes and go in and feel that state. There's nothing that can tell you no, or you shouldn't, or you can't. No matter where you are, you could be at work, just had a meltdown. Close your eyes, go into your flow. What feelings do you want your work and job to give you? How do you want this to resolve? With joy, with happiness? Go make that feeling now. Go do it. Super concentrate it. Make it so that the crummy stuff that just happened is watered down and washed away. You can do it when you're in the shower, and normally you'd just be daydreaming and reminiscing about your day. But no, you're doing your manifesting. Anytime, any day. See how freeing that feels? It helps you because it means that any time you shift into lack thinking or despair, hopelessness, not being sure about something, you go right into your flow. You go right in and you do it. So that is why, my friends, flow dreaming is my favorite technique for this. And again, I am not here today to describe that. Just go to my website, flowdreaming.com, grab my free kit, learn it for yourself. You will love this gorgeous, gorgeous practice. It does all of the things I just shared with you. And even if you don't get around to doing this, I want you to look at your own systems that you have for manifesting right now. And ask yourself, which ones can I do consistently? Which ones can I do anytime, any day? Which ones can I do for free? Which ones make me feel fabulous and wonderful and confident afterward? Which ones are generating strong, pure, deep, emotion? Which ones? Those are my keepers. And you know what's so, so beautiful about this? Those are the keepers for the rest of your life. Maybe someday they'll change, evolve, but probably not for a long time. If something is working for you, it will keep working for you. It's a perfect fit for your personality. Now, the depth and the precision with which you do it or use it definitely will change. It's like if yoga works for you and you keep doing it, you're going to get better and better and do harder and harder poses. If it doesn't work for you, you're going to leave it. Move on. So there we are. I hope this was a beautiful bird's eye overview of what manifesting is and really, how to do it well, what the best manifesting technique for you might be. So before we end today, I just want to remind you, this is all in a blog on my website. Go ahead and Google the words Flow Dreaming. That's Flow, F like Frank, Flow Dreaming, all one word. And the phrase, what is manifesting? And this will help you. It will really, really help you. So that's it, my friends. You will see me back again next week as we come up with yet another episode. And like I mentioned, this is going to be number 657, manifesting advice for people in their 30s. So until next time, lots of love to you all. I'll see you again for more Flow Dreaming. Quick question. Have you checked out Me School? In Me School, we travel together through a year, through everything that you are. You get to discover what drives you, how you're made, and how powerful you actually are. We play with intuition and flow dreaming and dozens of other techniques as you go through one of the most potent, powerful, and pleasurable personal development experiences you've ever seen. We continually co-create your future, and I ask you to bring big goals to the table, things that you want to become inside yourself. And you'll reach these using the tools that you've probably never been exposed to before in your life, but you will be here in Me School. So if you're curious, go to flowdreaming.com and click on Me School. Set up a call, and we'll help you see exactly what you can do with your life. And if you choose to come join me in Me School, then I look forward to us as we work together to create miracles.